Welcome, bienvenidos. This is Roxana from Metamorphosis Rocks, and today we're going to have a little conversation about these two YouTubers. And the first thing I'm going to say to you is, if you think this is going to be a video where we're going to bash on two people who are going through a hard time, this is not the video for you. Now, I haven't seen pretty much anything on YouTube. I have seen a couple of TikToks about this situation, and other than the people involved, clearly. And so my sources are limited. What we're going to do is I'm going to tell you what I know. I'm going to also let you know what they're doing in case you want to support them. And last but not least, I'm going to tell you what I would have done in the same circumstances and information based on the information that I've been able to gather. Now, I want to be very clear that actually all of the screenshots that I have on this video have been taken by me. One of the things that happens when somebody sends me something online is I go and look it up myself. If I find it, I am going to screenshot it myself. Number one, to protect the identity of the person who sent it to me, because sometimes you can see the thing in the bottom and I forget to cut it off. Number two, because I want to confirm that what I'm getting is the scoop based on the reality of the situation and not somebody's interpretation of what happened. Having said that, I want you to understand that the information that I have on this is limited, because contrary to popular belief, once I'm no longer welcome in the space of somebody, or they're not welcome in my space, I don't watch them anymore. Now, I have been called a liar for saying that. Let me explain something so you understand how my brain works. If you betray me, if you treat me like trash, if you talk trash about me publicly and privately, I am probably not going to have any place in my life for you. I am too old to be sitting here waiting for you to change your mind and be good to you. Mess with me, bye. I don't have time for that. Now, some people think that that's baloney. No, it isn't. The only time I watch somebody that I had a relationship, any kind of relationship, be parasocial or not, the only time I watch them is if I'm making a video so that I can get information. But in this particular case, I didn't have to, because there's plenty of resources that I could use to get the information without having to actually watch them, aka Twitter. Anyway, I'm going to give you the short version of how I found out about this and what I found out, and then we go through what they're doing, what I'm thinking. First of all, this all stems from a video a few weeks ago. I don't know how long ago. Peter Munn mentioned that Dustin and Nick had been doxxed by Uber Eats. Now, I saw the tweet in question where they doxed them, and to be honest with you, I'm inclined to believe that the person confused themselves between DM and publicly, and that's how that happened. Just because I think that's what happened doesn't mean I excuse it. It is inexcusable for you to release somebody's address in public. Is it doxing, though? According to the law, we're going to talk about that later. Anyway, bottom line is that the person was trying to, okay, let me backtrack. What happened was Nick and Dustin ordered food from Uber Eats, and the driver placed the food in front of the door, took the picture, and then removed the food and took it with them, aka stole the food. They have video of this happening, so it's not like there's no evidence. They actually have the video of this happening, and actually I did see the video in question. Now, Uber Eats, of course, what they have before they see any video from the client is that their representative, their contractor, sent a picture of the food being delivered and has, because of their tracking system, they have the address. And I believe that's where the confusion happened, and this person who was speaking for Uber Eats decided to send a message, listen, we delivered to blah, 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 blah. And unfortunately, they did it publicly. Now, once that happens, absolutely I agree with Nick and Dustin that Uber is at fault. We're going to get through the whole situation, okay? For what I understand, this part of the story I gathered from the video that Peter posted and from information that I saw on Twitter. Now, it gets interesting because allegedly, and I don't have any screenshots of this, I am basing this on information that I've gathered from several sources, including somebody that actually posted something in one of my videos. They had some sort of arbitration, and they were offered $2,000 each and an NDA. Now, let's keep in mind that these two people make a living talking about people in companies and whatnot, so signing an NDA might not be the most profitable thing for them in the future. Also, they felt that $2,000, in other words, $4,000 for the pair of them, was not enough considering wages and some other things that I'm going to get into later. I wanted to make clear that there was an offer on the table, which they have every right to refuse, by the way. I'm not saying they don't have the right to refuse. But there was an offer on the table. So saying that Uber has done nothing is not entirely correct. Now, I understand why that is said or posted on videos, because that is an attention grabber and clickbait. But the reality is that there was an offer. And I want to leave that on the table. All right. So bottom line is they don't accept the offer. They decide that they're going to get a lawyer in order to sue Uber, and they need a $600 retainer, at which point their own followers did not take that very well, and those are the screenshots that you're seeing on the screen right now. Now, let me start by saying this. Unless you have a slew of opportunities to promote other companies and whatnot during your videos, income from you all watching ads on the platform is not the biggest income producing activity, and you can see it here because I have both Dustin and Nick's current possibilities for income. Now, this is not correct because, again, it doesn't take into account any promotions that they're doing, like, you know, if they're promoting a company or a product or anything like that. You're not gonna see that in this income. This income is based on advertising that YouTube plays on the videos. Okay, having said that, let's go back for a second. Before I tell you my opinion, I want you to understand the position that they're in. Both Nick and Dustin have had a series of unfortunate events, if you will, for the last few years. They've lost family members. They had a house fire. They moved. For what I understand, I mean, I saw a headline. I didn't see the video, but apparently they also got robbed. And now they have this situation with their dogs. They feel unsafe because they claim that they're being stalked. I do not have any information to corroborate or deny that they're being stalked. Based on who they're accusing, I don't necessarily think that's true. But it doesn't matter. At the end, if they feel like they're being stalked, as someone who's been stalked and who has felt like they're being stalked, I understand the fear. Which is why, personally, I would have taken the $4,000, closed the door on this, and moved on. Here's the reason why. Before you tell me, oh, you don't know what it's like to have like all these unfortunate events, I had an entire span between 2015 and 2022 where my life was hell. It started out with my husband being diagnosed with cancer. Not even 6 months after that, my dad was dead. We had, of course, the series of unfortunate events that were YouTube. And if you know, you know, and I'm not going to go into that. Then came the Panini, and we lost, between friends and family members, we lost 40 people in this household. Now, ironically, from the Panini itself, we only lost 2 people. But the reason why I mentioned that we lost 40 people between the 3 of us is because we didn't have any closure, because given the given the environment where we were in, we could not go to funerals. We could not go and say goodbye. So we had that situation. Then at the tail end of 2020, my dog died, and I had that dog since he was 2 weeks old. My mom passed away 10 months later, and then my father-in-law passed away 13 months after my mom. So I've had a series of unfortunate events for about 7 years, 8 years, give or take. I'm not including the fact that between the three of us, we lost 6 jobs during that time. Some were layoffs, some were firings, some were just that we had to quit for personal reasons. But the bottom line is that there were 6 job losses, which means the income wasn't there. There was a lot of things that happened, and no, I'm not going to get into my personal situations. If you've seen the videos, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you don't. Bottom line is that those years were hell. And at one point, I had to make the decision. Oh, and we had 2 hurricanes. I had to make the decision that I needed to get out of my own way and start clawing back through the sadness and the tragedies of my life and get out of the place where I was. The danger of having so many bad things happen one after the other and after the other is the fact that depression comes in, anxiety comes in, all these things happen in your brain, and you either go and get a mental health assistance, or you start working yourself out of it. I don't care how you do it, but you need to find a way of clawing back out of it. You have 2 people that have been through hell, and they have each other, and there is such a thing as connecting through your sadness. But y'all did not start dating based on sadness. You had other things going for you. And no, I'm not going to go into the good and the bad because that's nobody's business but yours. But it's been public, so we all know what it is. And the bottom line is that if it would have been me, and I understand that $4,000 is not enough, and in order for me to prove that point, what I decided to do is, because one of the things that they're saying is that they need to move because of the stalking. And I went ahead and I started looking at the numbers for moving a family of 4, because I believe they have a roommate that has a child. Moving a family of 4, and I started with Florida to Puerto Rico, not because I think they're moving to Puerto Rico, but because I figured moving transatlantic was more expensive than moving through states. And then I picked some states far, near and far, and get a comparison of how much it would cost for a family of 4 to move from state to state. And it ended up being that the average, or the medium, was around $445. If they were offering you $4,000, then you would have needed $500. You could have moved out of there. I don't think you need to move out of state, but if you wanted to move out of state, that's why I did those numbers. I did California, I did Colorado, Vegas, I think I did North Carolina, New York. I did several states, which are on the screen right now. So why am I bringing that up? Because that was what they wanted to do, was to move. And I think if that makes them feel safer, then go ahead and move. But the reason why I'm saying take the $4,000 and run is because that will close the door on that tragedy, and that would help you start clawing back out of it. You people had channels that were bringing in hundreds of thousands of views a day. I'm looking at your social blade. You're not doing those numbers anymore. You both have the ability to bring those numbers in. You don't have to do drama for that, because people actually like both of you. And people would watch your opinions on certain things. And you have proven that time and time again. And the reason why I know you can do it is because every once in a while you'll have a video that will hit. Now, is it going to hit the hundreds of thousands of... Maybe not. But if you have 5 videos a week, because if my understanding that you're not working, you're just doing YouTube. If you're working solely on social media, because I do know that there's Twilight, TikTok and Instagram and whatnot. I'm aware that there's in Facebook. I believe you're using Facebook as well. If you are making content on social media and that is your job, and you're making sure that you post 5 videos a week, and those videos make you 20,000 views each, yeah, that's not the millions that you were getting when the beauty community was on fire, but that's still a very nice, solid income that you can grow and expand from. Number one. Number two, at that point, you can get some deals with some companies and make some promos and make some more money and make some stable money so that you can survive and thrive and not have to worry about it. I am very much aware that the people that are leaving messages saying, well, if you have money, why aren't you spending it on this? It's funny that people are saying that to you, because both of you said that to me at one point. Even though you all personally knew the circumstances that we were going through as a family in my home. Because what people don't know is that both of you were in my DMs, so you both knew that I was going through hell at some points in 2019, 2018, and before this all went to hell. You decided to listen to a bunch of people that had opinions instead of finding out for yourselves what the deal was. And that's fine. You can make opinions. You can stop talking to whoever you want. You do have a reputation for getting kind of annoying with women. That's something you're going to have to deal with, because, of course, I can't help but notice that most of your fans are women. So it's kind of a weird situation where I see all these women that love to watch your channel while you're being dismissive to other women. But the bottom line is this. The reason why I tell you take the money and run is because you need a fresh start so that you can focus on social media, because clearly that's what you want to make a living out of. Have a fresh start, take the money, move, get yourself a nice place where you're all comfortable, where you all can start creating content again, and where you don't have the limitations of being worried about whoever is bothering you. As far as hate on the internet, we're all going to get that from time to time. That is, I'm going to get hate for this video, and I'm not even being mean to you. But the reality is that it's kind of ironic that what people are telling you is the same thing that you allowed people to say about me a while back. No, nobody has a right to know how much money you're making. No, nobody has a right to question where you spend your money. Yes, there are credit cards, and sometimes we do go crazy with the pay later options. I've done it, and you've done it, and we've all done it. That's why some of us are always up to our eyeballs in credit card debt, because we fall for the trap of either we want to test everything that we see on TikTok, maybe buy it. We are suckers for consumerism. We don't like to cook. Well, I do, but you all don't. And the reality is that people see the external, and then they automatically think that they know what's going on in your finances and in your life. Is it true? Probably not. I can tell from personal experience that I was accused of buying too much makeup, when the reality was that every single palette I ever bought was on buy it now, pay it later. So I was paying, instead of paying $60, I was paying $12 every 2 weeks or every month. But people don't care about that. They just want to accuse you of trying to steal money from your followers. The reality is that the people that are criticizing you don't have a right to tell the people that love you how to spend their money. Shown clearly by the fact that instead of $600, you got $965. So you did good. You got the money for the lawyer. You're going to end up suing these people. Personally, I think that what's going to end up happening is because I had to sue someone once, a company once, and I remember that after everything was said and done, the lawyer got me, they usually don't go to court with these things. So what ended up happening is that they reached a settlement, and of course the lawyer took 33%. I ended up with a nice chunk of change, and that's what I see in your future. And at the end, I'm wondering if after the lawyer take their cut, you're not going to end up with close to $4,000 anyway. Because the problem that you have with this case, and by the way, this is a cautionary tale for anybody that's watching this video. If you use Uber, Uber Eats, Grubhub, all of these companies have an arbitration clause. Pretty much every app that you have on your phone has an arbitration clause. If you get in trouble with the app, you're going to have to go through arbitration. And yeah, sometimes you get lucky and the arbitrator will go in your favor. But here's the problem. In the United States of America, doxing requires certain specifics, including ill intent. And based on the message that the person from Uber left on, and I am aware that it was public, but based on the language used, it seems like they were trying to prove that they delivered and not that there was any ill intent of you getting doxed. Number one. Number two, you would have to prove that that person knew who you were, aka YouTubers, and that they knew what kind of content you did and that they wanted to screw with you. Again, it's going to be very hard for you to prove that. Personally, I would have taken the money, but that's just me. Anyway, I can't wait to see what you think about this situation in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.